Hey everyone, welcome back to Google Workspace Recap, your number one source for everything Workspace by the tabGeeks Network. My name is Jesse Nolan, my co-host is Steve Larson, and we're here to help you keep up. Our thoughts go out to all of those affected by the Google layoffs. If you have not heard yet, Google laid off 12,000 people and decimated entire teams and projects, and we'll have a lot more on that in the news section of the show. Steve, how's it going?
Yeah, well, I'm having some challenges with Google myself these days. I've realized I've kind of found an issue, definitely with Android and Gmail accounts with security keys. I haven't tested it across Workspace accounts if it also affects those. But if your account has a security key, and the security key as your only second-factor authentication method, I haven't verified like every other combination, like with security keys and others, but definitely security keys only. You cannot log into an Android phone with your account until you remove it. And if you add it back, add security key back, that's fine. However, if you turn on advanced protection, then you get kicked out of your phone and then you have to log back in. And of course it doesn't work. So you can't have advanced protection on your consumer Gmail account if you want to be logged in on an Android phone. Doesn't work. Been able to reproduce it across multiple accounts, multiple Android devices, Pixel 7 Pro, 6 Pro, OnePlus 6T, same experience. You put the security key on the back of the phone. It gives you that verification tick box saying, hey, yep, accepted, your security key worked, and it just sits there. It doesn't do anything else. Account doesn't get added, doesn't log you in, it just doesn't work. And of course, consumer Google support is just as good as Workspace support, without the escalation possibilities, really. And they just direct you to the forum. So I am battling them at the moment, trying to say, hey, look, I know there's an issue. Let's get someone like engineer here connected with me, and we can work on this because there's a problem.
That is
we'll see.
crazy.
That's
a new
I'm in
thing,
day
though,
two
right?
right now. I'm in day two right now.
It used to work.
I mean, I would assume so. I had advanced protection enabled on my one account that I was attempting to get logged in with. So yeah, I guess, whenever I had advanced protection enabled on that account on that phone, let's say a year ago, it was working. So sometime between, that time I logged in and, today it's not. And like I said, it's not just my account. It's all Gmail accounts so far that I've tested, not just, certain brand of Android. It is probably all Android devices. I haven't gone into iOS yet to test that, but definitely Android devices on consumer accounts with security keys only, or those that are trying to enable advanced protection and relog in.
Crazy. Crazy. Well, keep us updated on that. Let us know what happens.
I will. We'll see how that goes. But yeah. So other than that, going great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Another daytime recording here. Thank you very much. Appreciate everybody's patience.
I feel like this is going to be a regular occurrence for the foreseeable future.
The next probably month or so until the twins are sleeping through the night and I can have my night times back to do our normal nighttime recordings. Mm-hmm. Although, you know what? Maybe we'll just make this permanent. Who knows?
We'll see.
Nighttime is great because it gives us, first of all, a lot of time to get the show, processed and edited and uploaded overnight. But also, the house is quiet, the streets are quiet, things are relatively, calm around. Yeah. Notifications are quieter, so it's easier to just lock in and focus on the show.
I don't know. I mean, during the day, I feel like it might be a little bit busier with, work-related things, but we'll see. It's working so far.
Yeah, we make it work.
We do. This week in updates, we had a few. We had 3 updates come through this week, along with a 4th in the end of week recap post, and the other additional update that they mentioned that hadn't been mentioned actually had been. So there's only 4 this week in total, not 5 as you may have thought with the 3 updates plus the 2. So the silent release, the one that we saw in the recap post, was that You can set and share personal pronouns across Google Workspace products. That's something that the admins can enable there in the fields. Users can modify themselves. And then in terms of updates, the first one is the one that we saw in the recap post as not being announced, and that was the Google Vault support for client-side encrypted emails. Next, there's a new beta to move folders from My Drive to shared drives, which is available. And then finally, there's some new built-in interoperability between Google Meet and Zoom, which that is huge. That is a big one. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that is going to be adopted and leveraged in organizations, moving forward here. So I was starting to look at all of our Zoom costs, for example, as the organization was kind of like hiring a few more people, and everyone's requesting, like, oh, I don't have a Zoom license. I don't have a Zoom license. I'm like, $20 a month for just Zoom. What features are you using that you need? No one can actually name a feature that they need other than longer meeting lengths and, meet some host controls. But those are already available in the nonprofit SKU. And then some people need recordings.
Why aren't they using Meet?
Exactly. Because the CEO uses Zoom, and so everyone else wants to use Zoom. That's why.
Gotta convert the CEO.
Exactly.
We must have an intervention.
Yeah.
That'd be a good video.
Started running the numbers.
Zoom intervention.
Right? Running the numbers on what it would cost us as a nonprofit to upgrade to another tier that has, let's say, recording and more controls for the meeting, for Google Meet. And of course, not only do you get enhanced functionality with Meet, but then you get all this additional security controls and DLP and all this other stuff. So I can I can have 75 paid enterprise users and, just, match that current spend we have on Zoom right now of 23, 24 users. So trying to make that a transition for next year, because we've just kind of moved into another year commitment with Zoom on the current license costs. But hopefully we can get some buy-in for that transition maybe next year and look at the benefits of upgrading to enterprise, because the cost of enterprise for nonprofits is like $7 or $8, I think, per user per year or per month.
Right.
So pretty reasonable, comparative to Zoom, which is 20.
Yeah. We've only got 1 or 2 Zoom licenses, and we really only use it for one purpose, our company-wide town halls. And the only reason we're still doing that, as I mentioned before on the show, is because Zoom has this amazing ability for a stenographer translator to be able to put captions up on the screen yet, which I haven't seen Google Meet doing. So the minute Google Meet has that, we will all switch back over to using Google Meet for our town halls.
So not using the built-in captions, but having someone actually type it.
Yeah. I suppose, having... Like, we should probably do a test to go and have a Spanish speaker, of which I am not, run through side by side and compare the Google automated captions translated versus the captioner. I think that would be an interesting test. And who knows? Maybe it'll save me a couple $100 each quarter of, hiring a translator for these things. But given that more than half of our company is English as a second language, Spanish is really important for us.
Got it. Yeah. And so no one's tried the Spanish translations in meetings and given you any feedback, huh?
No, I don't think so. Not that I've heard of, but I think that as it continues to improve, we're definitely going to have to give it a shot and see what happens.
Yeah. I think we have a few use cases for the webinar functionality as well, and some of the meetings that we do for our events. It's useful to have with Zoom, but very few use cases.
Less and less.
Yeah, and then quite a lot happening in the news this week. As we mentioned in the top of the episode, a lot of layoffs from Google's end. So a few of these articles, I think, are all related to that topic. There's some articles here around. The first one is what is this here? This is CEO Outlook series from what is this? Acceleration economy. Not had that one in the news yet.
Yeah, that was
an
interview
with Thomas Carrion. Yeah, nice. And some additional CEO outlooks here with the digital summit starting February 8th. So if you're interested in that, probably something worth checking out. Google Classroom invitations being abused to send spam emails and can't be disabled. There's an article here from 9 to 5 about that. A little Verge article here about kind of probably attention grabbing here, a headline, but Google's freaking out about ChatGPT. I don't know that, but I think Google's got something coming. It's already been developing it really in the background, so interested to hear what that article is all about. And then as we get into the big topic, Google's layoffs, 12, is it 12,000 or more? Or is it 20,000? 12,000.
No, I thought it was 12,000.
Okay. Yeah, 12. I have not looked into or seen much of the news around this, so I thought maybe it said 20, but only 12. So it's a small amount. I mean, 12,000 is small compared to what do they have? Like 200,000 people? It's like
it's a lot.
It's small.
It's still a lot. I mean, Amazon did 18,000, but
Yeah.
all these companies scaled up tremendously during the pandemic. So
Yeah.
it's just a course correction, which sucks.
Yeah, some articles in there about which departments were hit the most, and then also, of course, 9 to 5 or the 9 to 5 article here around Area 120 and Fuchsia being two of those departments and sub-orgs, I guess, within Google that were impacted significantly with those layoffs. And then finally, the Google account switcher on the web gets a material you redesigned, and another 9 to 5 article there. We should get some of the 9 to 5 maybe writers on as a guest. That'd be interesting.
It's a good idea. Definitely should.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to stop you right there. We're going to take a quick break because my camera seems to have glitched out. So I'm going to stop the recording and we'll be right back so that I can reload this. I don't know what happened, but I'm on my Mac.
Side view. That's a good view, though.
Yeah.
I like it.
You like that?
Yeah.
Alternate cam. We're doing multi-cam environments now.
It'd be good if you could just switch between the two and just be like, go back and forth.
I would have to get an external cam switcher or I guess use OBS or something like that on my Mac. I don't know.
Sweet. Yeah. All right. So
be interesting to let's take a look at the side view and all right, we're back. Sorry about that.
We're back. It's all right.
Back into the show.
So we're just about to jump into those updates that we have for you this week, and that first one being the ability to set and share personal pronouns across Google Workspace products. So this is going to be another field within the the directory settings and profile editing and profile information section. It will be something that you as an admin has to toggle on or off, or something that you can toggle on or off. I'm sure is probably enabled by default. We'll see here as we get down here. It's an opt-in only. Yep. So it can be enabled for all users or a subset of them. It is a setting within those, as I said, directory settings. So you can start to define, who has the ability to do this, and it'll be displayed and shown in some personal information cards when hovering over or clicking on someone's profile. So it's just an easier way to allow users to share this information themselves rather than going in and editing the actual user's first name or last name, for example, to display those previously.
I'm honestly shocked it took them this long to roll this out, given how big of a conversation it is, especially in Silicon Valley, and the amount of discussions around it.
I think Microsoft came out with it a long time ago, didn't they?
Yeah.
So Google always seems to be slow with releasing things. I mean, they were kind of quick with a bunch of enhancements with Meet, and they kind of reshifted priorities there, when COVID and stuff happened, but still took a while. Mm-hmm. Availability on this one, it looks like it might be limited a little bit. Let's see here. Starter, Essential Starter, Standard Plus, Enterprise Essentials. It looks like everyone. Nonprofits, Legacy, G Suite, Basic. Yeah, this one looks like it's available to everyone.
We did have one question that I forgot to put in the show notes here. from submitted on our website from Eric Danowitz wanted to know specifically about this, why it's not available for the EDU versions of Google Workspace.
I was just going to say, but it isn't listed for EDUs. I don't know. I mean, maybe there's more bureaucracy there with the EDUs. They had it deploy it out there. I don't know. Who knows?
So like a GDPR problem or a legal problem, or I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know either.
I feel like a lot of the talk about this comes out of the education sector,
right?
Or, educational institutions and whatnot.
Yeah.
That is a weird one. Good question. We're gonna have to look into it. If
Right.
anybody on the Google team wants to come on and talk about this, let us know. We'd be happy to try and answer Eric's question.
Yeah. Next one. Google Vault support for client-side encrypted emails. So there'll be some, additional capabilities here for those types of situations and those types of emails. This will just kind of extend the ability for Vault to, I guess, store and interpret those types of messages. So, so admins can't preview the email body and attachments. They'll only be able to see the subject line and sender and receiver. And it seems like, I'm trying to read through here. I guess it sounds like that you weren't able to see this in Vault at all, any of this information. So,
yeah, I think that they had said that it was not supported for CSE.
They can't preview. That doesn't mean necessarily that they can't access it some other way, perhaps. Because you can do that within the Vault tool to kind of preview that message.
Mm-hmm.
So you probably need to manually load that encryption key and then decrypt it, and that's why it's not just visible through the Vault service.
Yeah, I imagine that's so that they can do, e-discovery and hand it off to the correct individuals, but not actually be privy to the information themselves. Taking away some of our admin powers. I'm just kidding. Yeah. Security is important. Yeah. Privacy is important.
Well, I mean, most likely IT is going to be managing some of those.
We'll probably have the key anyway.
Those keys anyways for the users, right? So,
but for larger orgs where you've got multiple different levels and things like that, there are times where that may be more important.
Right.
In fact, that's one of the things that I was going to mention later on down below about the layoffs is the fact that they said specifically in a little bit of an apology in the town hall, people were coming in to find out, like they were trying to scan their badge at the Google offices and finding that their access was revoked that way. And it's like, yeah, that sucks. We're sorry. But given the amount of people here, we had to take precautions to make sure that there weren't possible issues of people being in the office or things like that because, theoretically, there's a lot at stake there. That's not great. Certainly there's better ways to handle it, but, it's obviously a major concern for much larger organizations that are dealing with.
Well, is there a better way to? I mean, how do you communicate to someone that they are no longer with the organization and restrict their access to emails and information at the same time? How?
It would be a Herculean effort to do it.
I don't know how.
It would involve, it would involve all of their managers or a specific team that would basically be in touch with these people's direct contact information that's not the work information. Like, as part of HR, everybody has their own personal cell phone number on there. It's not like you have no other way to contact these people, and so you call them,
Get a text message. Hey, you've been fired from
No,
Google.
Not a text message. a phone call, or hey, here, an email to their personal email. But not everybody checks those.
12,000 people all at once. That's
it's Google. They're spending how much on
maybe they could do the AI. Yeah, could do HR AI.
Right.
Hey, this
is an interesting one. Mass firing by HR AI.
Yeah. How do you let 12,000 people go at once and call them all at the same time?
Yeah.
Google's HR AI has got a solution for you.
There you go. So use the AI call tree, I suppose.
Yeah.
No, it's a tough one, but it's definitely there were concerns on security and safety of the information that is in Google products.
Yeah.
So, yikes. Anyway, onward.
All right. Well, this one, of course, is available only to those select customers that have this, and it's going to match up with the encryption, of course. So it's Enterprise Plus, Education Plus, and Education Standard customers. Not available to anyone else. Rollout on that has started on the 17th of Jan on a gradual rollout up to 15 days for both rapid release and scheduled release domains. Of course, I get the beeping. I have a screen
what
on.
is that?
That is a Google, I think that's a Google Meet session that was left running, I think.
That is very annoying.
Yeah.
Is that like right before it closes because you've been inactive for 2 minutes?
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
I don't remember hearing, I guess because I always click, yes, I'm still here. I don't remember hearing it be that extreme.
Yeah, I forgot to turn off the monitor. I got to remember to do that in the next
That's funny.
checklist. Turn off.
Add it to our show notes checklist.
Yeah, monitor, microphone. Yeah, turn off. Yeah, turn off. I'm adding it now. Turn on monitor. Done.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
just mute it.
No, I can't. I mean, I can't reach it. It's like it's all. I have to get up out of frame.
Show,
and it's only a few seconds, but it has more beeps potentially coming.
Yep.
So we'll see.
How many of those did you leave open?
Well, I don't know. I leave, it's email notifications, text message notifications. It's all possible.
Right.
So,
all
right. Next, though, this is a new beta for the ability to move folders from MyDrive into shared drives. Now, this is a tricky one because moving these folders from MyDrive into shared drives is not that straightforward. And there's a reason why this hasn't been available for such a long time. It is because of the complexities that are involved in moving these types of folders into shared drives. You have, loads of possibility for externally created and owned files within these MyDrive locations. You have permission challenges with these files of, I may not be the editor to all those files, even though I'm the owner of the top level folder. People that had other edit access may have only given me view access on files in there. So it is a challenge to move from MyDrive into shared drives. And, this is, a new feature that is going to do some of those checks for you. So it's going to check and make sure that, there's not too many files externally owned that maybe you are expecting to move across. And then also the other part is that the file IDs remain the same. For the folder IDs. So file IDs always remain the same if you're moving them before. But one of the challenges was that the folder IDs, I keep saying it again, the folder IDs used to change when moving into a shared drive. But with this new functionality, you can keep the folder IDs the same. So those are some of the benefits to this new feature. It really needs to be done on a case-by-case basis. You, as an admin, really need to kind of probably do these yourselves with the user and understand, make sure that they understand the implications of this move and what can happen and how different the data can be structured based upon, whether or not those files are external or not. So it is, it's not a functionality to be handed out lightly to your end users. So be careful around this one. This one is definitely one to keep a close eye on and give users sparingly and caution and with caution. So, but definitely some nice.
Aware of that.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some nice new graphics here in terms of what what the user will see when they're moving it. These, I'm just looking at this now. So many items will be moved. Item owners will retain access to files. So some new visualization in the dialog boxes that I'm seeing here in this rollout. I've had access to this for a while and some capacity. I think probably for the last, I don't know. That was a while ago. I mean, probably close to a year now. It seems like.
Right. Well, one thing to note: this is different than the previous beta that was launched for admins to be able to do this. This is now end users.
Yeah, this is, yeah, essentially, right. It's the role to give to users, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Also a beta, so you do have to sign up for it.
Yeah. Yeah, so roll out to this one. Let's see here. Rollout pace for this is that they are accepting new domains into the program in the coming weeks, and there's a link to the beta to sign up for that. And then it looks like, there's, I guess the role functionality is started to roll out on the 18th of Jan, and a gradual rollout. So yes, I don't know, those two don't quite align too well, right? It's like, oh, we're going to roll it out in the coming weeks, but the functionality is available now? I don't know. The update to the user roles. The update
to user roles will be available in the actual feature.
Yeah, there you go.
In the coming weeks. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess that's how they're splitting it out. Correct. Yeah, between the beta and the user role update. This is going to be available to most everyone, but it won't be available to Business Starter, Frontline, or Legacy G Suite basic customers, nor will it be available to those with personal Google accounts. And then last in this week's updates is that ability to use Zoom in Google Meet. So interoperability finally coming for Zoom into Meet. So this was available with WebEx prior to this. So this is now going to allow you to join Zoom meetings from Google Meet hardware devices and join Google Meet meetings from Zoom rooms. So some cross interoperability there, which is great. So if you have a lot of Zoom rooms, you can start to join Meet, and if you have the opposite, you can do get the Meet hardware joining in Zoom rooms. So there's cool. There's some little kind of details here. It's just Zoom interoperability supports core video conferencing features. Some of the advanced features like polls. Wired present dual screen support may not be available when using Meet hardware to join Zoom meetings and vice versa. So it really just, it gives users that kind of core functionality of being able to see people and talk to people. That's kind of what meetings mostly are anyways, right? So that is coming here very soon. I think, let's just look, scrolling down here, there's a lot of details around the different ways to kind of get started here with the Zoom interop with Google Meet hardware and also Meet interop with Zoom rooms. But rollout pace, there is a few different timelines for each of these. So for the Zoom interop on Meet hardware with the admin settings there's a rollout starting the 19th of Jan for rapid release and scheduled release domains on a gradual rollout up to 1 week for feature visibility. First time we've seen that kind of window. 1 week. Then for end user availability on devices, there's a gradual rollout up to 15 days for visibility there, starting the 26th of Jan for both rapid release and scheduled release domains. And then finally, the Meet interop on Zoom rooms. That one has a rollout of January 26th and available immediately for, I guess it says for rapid release and scheduled release domains, but I guess if you are on Zoom rooms, how would Zoom know that you're on scheduled or rapid release? But whatever. It's like, okay, right.
Interesting note here is that calendar events that originate outside of Google Calendar must be duplicated and populated with room details manually, or have their Zoom join details copy and pasted into the description field of a new calendar event. Yikes.
That's good to know.
Yeah. Have you tested this? Have you played around with it at all?
Not yet. No. We have one device that is not yet hooked up, but we've been waiting for this functionality to come out to kind of test it further, because I kind of thought we'd have access to it prior to this GA announce, but we did not. So waiting to test this out as soon as I can.
Well, I am going to very soon have the Avacor, however it's pronounced, Avacor Desk 27 meeting room device. So I'll be able to do an unboxing video and play around with that and do some testing on this, because that's literally what we're going to use it for, is one person, our founder, who doesn't really use a computer. He uses an iPad or an iPhone, and joining meetings can be difficult for him, and we want to make it as simple as possible. So we just want him to tap on the calendar entry and boom, he's there. So hopefully that'll work for both. I mean, I don't really care about Zoom because primarily we don't use Zoom, as I mentioned before. But on the occasion, if there's a court meeting or something that's on a Zoom, it'd be nice for him to be able to join that way. So we'll see.
Got it. That's it for me. I think I got all the updates there. Got the rollout pace for each of those, availability. Heading over into the news then for now.
Into the news. All right. So, bunch of things going on here. As Steve mentioned earlier in the show, the CEO Outlook Series 2023. This is a conference that's happening, and the article that I posted here is from Cloud Wars Minute, which is a daily news and commentary show called Cloud Wars. And the reason why I posted this is because it's an interview with Google Cloud CEO Thomas Kurian, and it goes into some of the things that that the company is focusing on, that Google is focusing on, especially Google Cloud, and what the strategy is going forward. So I always like to have some of that contextual awareness of the bigger picture, of where the company is looking to grow towards. And obviously, this is all should be taken with a not with a grain of salt, but with keeping in mind the layoffs and the new focus onto AI heading into the new year here, which is another article that we're going to cover in a minute. But I just always like to find these interesting just because you get that greater context. And so I don't know if anybody is interested in the Outlook series in particular, so I have the link here for that as well. But I thought this was an interesting point. So if you want that context, go and click the link and you can watch that video. It is written out, the highlights in text, but there's more in the video that's there. Another one that I'm not sure if this was resolved yet, but this is a 9 to 5 Google article that is saying Google Classroom invitations are being abused to send spam emails and currently cannot be disabled. So once again, similar to how people were sending out invitations to people's emails that were spam via Google Docs sharing or sheets or slides or whatever, inviting people to things that are malicious or lead to malicious sites and malware loaded sites and whatnot. Essentially, Google Classroom is the latest front that they are using to try and send those out, and it is because it's available to everybody, not just a paid Workspace account. Basically, scammers can go in there and do whatever the hell they want and start sending these out to anybody that they want. So not sure if Google has something in the works for this. It looks like this is still an ongoing issue, and similar to what we've seen last time through the comments system or the sharing system in Google Docs. So hopefully Google will be able to get ahead of this and use some fancy AI powers that they're all focused on now to help mitigate this. I haven't personally seen any of these, but apparently these are going out. So stay aware. Keep your eyes peeled for those. Apparently some of them are not suitable for work. So if you want to see what the link was on that, you can go into the whole article there, and they link to the post that talks about it. But we'll leave it there so that we can keep our show kosher. Speaking about AI stuff, Verge article here that Google is freaking out about ChatGPT, as we've reported multiple times in this show over the last couple of weeks here. And mainly it's just showing or saying that one of the things that we've mentioned before is that the upcoming conference that Google has, which is likely to be I/O, is going to be demonstrating or unveiling more than 20 projects that are powered by artificial intelligence. And that's going to be likely at I/O in May. And, some of them are going to be probably really ambitious, such as, how to properly use a ChatGPT style search in Google search or something similar, just so that people don't think that they are left behind. But also other things like including AI powers in some of their other simpler tools, such as a pixel background creator, which is apparently going to use some kind of AI model. I'm not really sure of the details there, but apparently that's one of the things that they have indicated is going to have AI soon. Yes, Steve?
Yeah, no, I just I was looking at the article and I loaded it up, and in the top right corner it mentions Larry and Sergey having a comment about it, and I'm like, that's a lot. It's been a long time since I've seen Larry and Sergey getting involved in things around Google, and of course later on in the article I was reading down, it goes on to talk about, yes, this is a very unusual situation because of course they left their daily roles back in 2019, and you don't really hear much about the two of them getting involved in too many of the happenings with Google. But obviously this is, something big and interesting enough for them to kind of get engaged and provide some, recommendations and ideas and thoughts on the topic and how the current Google leaders and execs can kind of, do stuff here. Give me a second. I just have to dip out just to make sure that the laptop doesn't turn off. I have to press the button down on the floor. 1 second.
Go for it.
Oh, wait. Maybe it's behind me. Maybe it fell out of the wall socket. Yep, that's what happened.
Power.
Came out of the wall.
Good times. Good times.
All right.
So it is interesting to see that Google's fearless founders, so to speak, have shown up once again to wield a little bit of their power to help steer the ship here in the direction of AI, because it is a huge shift that is about to occur here, and we're basically at the precipice of the next generation of computing and where we're going with things, and Google. Actually, this is breaking news. Google is apparently being sued now by several states and the U.S. government for antitrust and monopoly issues there. And that, I think, is part of, and I have thought about doing a separate video on this entirely, but in a way, it's like, finally, they've been threatening to do this, and the states already talked about suing or did sue several months ago, and Google has been terrified of this, facing the Microsoft antitrust breakup of years ago for a long time, and to me it feels like they have really pulled a lot of their punches because they were afraid of pissing off the antitrust powers that be, and that I think that having the Steve's got the link going in there. Having the big focus shift towards AI now is more like, all right, well, we were already working on this. This is already a big part of our work in the background, but we haven't really talked about it because we don't want them to think, okay, Google's taking over the world with a sentient AI bot. And I just triggered my Google Home, of course. But anyway, in a way, it's a relief that this lawsuit has come through, so that now we can get on with it and hopefully get past it and get back to innovating and building and things like that. And hopefully Google doesn't get broken up. But it's definitely something that's big enough to bring out Sergey and Larry. And another thing that they were consulted on is the layoffs. As we mentioned at the top of the episode, Google has cut 12,000 jobs. It was originally reported as 10,000, but now I'm seeing it as 12,000 as the latest round of major tech layoffs. Google's not the first. They're not going to be the last. I believe Amazon has 18,000 jobs that they cut, and Microsoft also has something like 10 or 12,000 jobs that they cut as well. And, a lot of these companies really, really scaled up and way overhired during the pandemic, trying to ride the wave of massive adoption that was occurring, and thanks to the I guess we're not quite post, but somewhat post-pandemic economy and fears of recession and looming recession, etc. Things are obviously slowing down, and the big tech companies are scared. A little bit ironic that Microsoft laid off a whole mess load of people and then invested $10 billion in OpenAI, which is enough to pay everybody for like ever. But it's business investments versus actual headcount are two very different things. So take that with a grain of salt. Essentially, with these layoffs here, we have to to pour one out and say rest in peace, most likely, for our loved Area 120. One of the major areas that was really affected by the layoffs here is Area 120. Pretty much all of the projects have been shut down, and the entire teams have been let off, decimated almost completely. There are 3 projects. I don't know exactly which projects they are that are going to be graduated shortly from Area 120, and pretty much after that, it looks like the rest of the incubator is going to be shut down. Some of the things we've gotten out of that has been inbox, smart replies, game snacks, etc. This is just months after the division was cut in half back in September, and that was supposed to be a move towards refocusing the Area 120 teams to work on AI-first projects, but I guess that, with AI not being a moonshot anymore, AI being a core component or element of the company, it seems, going forward, that they needed it front and center and not over in the Area 120 projects. So hopefully we'll still see some fun innovations that just may not come out of the internal incubator at this time. Another team that was not quite decimated but still hit significantly was the Google Fuchsia teams. They are the ones that have been developing Google's custom kernel and operating system called Google Fuchsia, which is actually currently powering and running the Google Home displays. We've talked about this a couple of times in the past, and it's been, Google has been working on it for years and moving forward. But apparently of the 400 people that are working on it, at least 16% of them were let go. So this number may still continue to climb, but hopefully, things will start to level out. But youch. That hurts, and we're going to continue to follow this. And as far as Google Workspace, I haven't seen specifically anything saying the Workspace teams have been hit, but a lot of the sales staff have been taken out. A lot of the support staff have been taken out. The information reports that the layoffs are spread through nearly every group at Google, including projects like Chrome, Search, Android, and Cloud. And it's everybody up the pole, from even people who've received high-performance reviews and some managers that make anywhere from $500,000 a year to $1 million a year. We're gonna have to see. It's a wait and see game. In the past, Workspace has sometimes taken a back seat, but Workspace is a much larger element to the company now than it ever has been before. So hopefully, we're not going to see too many cuts in our beloved Workspace area. But I guess stay tuned for more information on that. And then the last topic that I have here is a kind of out of left field here, is Google finally got around to giving the account switcher on the web the Material You redesign, and it looks nice. It's about time. If you've seen or been familiar with what Material You is, it's a more modern approach to design. Contains rounded corners and, larger elements and things like that, and makes it easier and cleaner to see overall with, light and dark modes, etc. It's just a small update, but it is a more continuing design language across Google products, and so that's always nice to see. And so that is apparently rolling out now, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure. They didn't include, this is a 9 to 5 Google article, they didn't include a rollout on here at this time. So stay tuned for that, and keep your eyes peeled. So that's it for our main topics. So we hope you all enjoyed this show. Apologies, I have a little bit of a cold here, so I'm not as animated or as loud or clear as I normally am. A little stuffed up here, but that comes with not staying up all night every single night and taking care of twin babies. So I'll get over it soon, and we'll get back to our normal scheduled programming in a month or two. But that's all for this week. Send us your questions and comments on Twitter at Workspace Recap and on our website, workspacerecap.com. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Head over to YouTube, please, and hit the subscribe button over there. We are trying to reach 1,000 subs. That is our goal, so that we can get into the monetization program and start making some money off this little project, so that we can continue investing in it and making it better for everyone. Tell your friends that we're the best place to find Workspace information, and thanks for sticking with us in the new year. We love having you around, and submit any of your questions and comments. We had a question on the show here for the first time in a while, so always good to have those. And have a great week, and we'll see you next time on Workspace Recap.